Okay, so good morning and welcome to this presentation of the Master of Science in Computer Science and Engineering. I am Gianpaolo Cugola, I am the head of the Master of Science, and I will describe you the course, and then we will have some time for questions and answers. So first of all, why studying computer science? Well, actually answering this question is relatively easy nowadays. I would say because without computer science, we could not have these open days. So if we were able to do teaching and to do meetings like this one, it was because computer science exists and the tools produced by computer scientists are available. But besides this, we study computer science because we live in the information society. So we live in a society in which information is the most important value that we have, and computer science is the key enabler for ICT, information and communication technology. So we find information and computer science wherever. We find it in health and in hospitals. We find it into the music, because nowadays the music is made through software. We find it in security, and I mean computer security, but also physical security. We find it in managing our money in bank and all the business system, because when we move money, actually we're not moving anymore the physical money, but we are just moving bits from a computer to another. We find it when we organize our trips and our holidays. It has been a long time since we organized an holiday, but actually the way we organize holidays today is through software that communicate with other software, etc. And so by exchanging information, by managing information, and so through computer science. And then we use computer science when we buy things. Amazon is a big logistic platform governed by software, but this is also true for every store, big store, which have to move around goods from a place to another. And we use computer science when we light on and off, when we use our lights, when we use electricity. Nowadays, we use the term smart network to indicate the fact that we have a smart infrastructure for transporting energy. And we use software when we use computers, when we use tablets, and whatever we use nowadays, into the chips, but also in our cities. So cities are more and more smart cities, which are controlled through sensors that produce data that are used to understand what's going on. And we use software when we go on the web. So the internet is based on software, games, video games, but not only video games, but physical games also. And finally, even in every thing that we do in our life. And what about Politecnico of Milan? Well, Politecnico of Milan is one of the oldest universities in Italy. It has more than 150 years. And it is very well placed. Actually, we are 7th in Europe. We are number 20 in the world, 7th in Europe, and we are the first in Italy. And if we look at the European situation, well, we are not the first, but the 6 universities that are above us, and this that is the most important ranking for top universities. As I am saying, those 6 universities actually are all private universities from UK and Switzerland, which has totally different amount of money to spend. So given the amount of money that we have, actually we are very well placed, and we are very well placed in general. We are first in Italy. This was about the entire university. Then actually our study course is placed within the Department of Electronics, Information and Biotechnologies, so the DAPE. This is our department, which is the biggest department into our university. And it has more than 250 PhD students, a lot of researchers, professors, etc. And that's where the research on computer science happens. And the department has a lot of areas of research. Computer science is the biggest one, but then there is also electronics, telecommunication, electrical engineering, bioengineering, systems and control. And as you can see, within the department, all the people that works in the big area of ICT, information and communication technology, so electronics, computer science, telecommunication, automation, they are all together into this big department, because the research in computer science is very strongly connected with the research in telecommunication, in electronics, in control, etc. And we have a lot of laboratories that you will start using if you enter our study course. What about the program? The curriculum in computer science exists since 2005. That's the first year in which we had it, but actually we revise it every year. And so in fact, this year we have a couple of news that I will describe later on. We are part of the School of Industrial Information Engineering. So there is the big area of engineering at Politecnico of Milan. Then there are 3 schools of engineering, one for civil engineering, one for architecture and urban planning, and the last one for industrial information engineering. And we are part of this big school. And so the computer science program is part of this big school. So we are engineers. So this is not a computer science course, but it is a computer science and engineering course. So we are engineering and we are proud of being engineers. What about the expectation that you would have if you enter this program? Well, the final outcome is very good. The employment rate is very close to 100%. The salary is good, especially considering that we are in Italy, and this is the net monthly salary, the average net monthly salary. But what is most important is that all our students find a place in doing what they studied for. So they work in consultancy, they work in software, they work in research and development. So all the topmost areas are strongly related with computer science. And in fact, the satisfaction of our student is very, very high. So this means that we are doing a good job and that our students are generally happy. And continuing along this line, what the slide shows is the number of job offers that we have for computer science and engineering. This is the number of job offers that have been received by the university last year. So close to 5,000 job offers just for computer scientists and engineers. And this is considering that we only have 350 graduates. So for 350 graduates, we have more than 5,000 job offers. So that's a ratio of close to 16 to 1. So this gives you an idea of the distance between what we are able to do in graduating our student and what is the number of actual computer scientists that are required by the market. How is the program organized? So the program is organized around 120 credits. The ECTS is the unit of measure used in Europe, so European credits. We have 120 European credits in 2 years. 100 of those credits are in courses, and 20 credits are for the thesis at the end of your path. All courses are taught in English, or 90% of those courses are taught in English. Attending courses in general is not mandatory, but actually there are a lot of activities, part of our courses, that require your presence. we organized teaching online due to the pandemic, but actually this has finished more or less. And so we plan to do, to come back in presence, in full presence since the next semester. And this program, these 120 credits, are organized around 3 different study plans. We call them PSPA, pre-approved study plans. And so 3 different areas in which you could specialize. One study plan is specifically tailored to business and innovation, and I will describe you later on. The second one is one of the news of this year, is a new study plan specifically tailored to artificial intelligence. So to teach you all the details of machine learning and artificial intelligence in a very vertical study plan. And the last one is our more general and more generic study plan with very few mandatory courses and a lot of free choice in order for you to choose the path that you prefer and to specialize in the topics that you like the most. So let me show those study plan more in details. This is the first study plan, the one in business and innovation. It is made in collaboration with the business people. And so the first year focus on computer science topics. And there are a few choice, but not so many. So you have 15 credits of the first semester and 10 credits of the second semester. The other credits are all fixed and blocked. And even the choice is not so big. And all the courses, or most of the courses, are focused on computer science. And this is the first year. Then the second year, you move from Leonardo, so from Città Studi, where we are now, to Bovisa, where the business school is, and you do all the courses in the area of business. So in the end, we tend to prepare a student that is in the middle between a computer scientist and the area of business. So computer science for business and innovation, okay? First year here in Leonardo, Città Studi, and second year in Bovisa. This is the new artificial intelligence study plan. Here we have the student that we have in mind is a student that is only interested into artificial intelligence and computer science, and he wants to specialize only on that specific topic. Okay, so there are a few choice, but not so many. 10 credits at the first semester of the first year, 10 credits of the second semester, 5 credits from a small group at the second year, and then 20 credits at the second semester of the second year. So not so many choices, and a program that is strongly focused on artificial intelligence, engineering, and to prepare an artificial intelligence engineer, an AI engineer. Okay? This study plan will admit a maximum of 120 students that we will select on the basis of the results got during their previous studies. So it's a fixed number study plan. The third study plan is the most general one. It's the typical study plan that most of our students get and choose. And it is very, very free, I would say. There are 7 courses which are mandatory for a total of 35 credits. So foundational operational research, formal language and compilers, database 2, software engineering 2, advanced computer architecture, computing infrastructure, computer security. So 35 credits are fixed. Then there is the thesis that you choose freely by contacting the professors and chooses the topic that you like. And then 35 plus 20 minus 120, there are 65 credits that you can choose mostly in a free way. Okay? By choosing them from a very long list. This is the list from which you can choose your each single teaching, each single topic. And by carefully choosing the courses, you can build the path the way you want. You can specialize in the area you want. In order to help you choosing courses in a way that is coherent with a specific specialization, we also prepared 10 different tracks. Those are not study plans. Within the generic study plan, those are suggestions in order to fill the blanks of the study plan in a way that has some coherence. You can follow those suggestions or you cannot. It's up to you. Okay. So the study plan per se does not give you any obligation. And the 10 tracks gives you an idea of the areas in which you can specialize. One is on ambient and data intelligence, one is in big data and data science, another in bioinformatics and e-health, another one in business information analytics and intelligence, one in cybersecurity, interactive applications, internet engineering, pervasive systems, robotics and vision, and finally software engineering for complex systems. As you see, those 10 tracks cover most of the very broad spectrum of computer science. So you can specialize from robotics to software engineering to ambient intelligence to big data and data processing and big data processing to pervasive systems. So you can choose the path you want, and you can also mix things together. Comparing this with the artificial intelligence plan, as I said, that plan is very vertical. Here you have you still have in this generic plan, you still have several courses in the area of artificial intelligence and machine learning. As an example, fundamentals of artificial intelligence, machine learning. So those are courses that you can choose in this area. What you cannot choose are those very specific and very vertical courses that are only given into the specific artificial intelligence study plan. Okay, but the fact that there are still the basic is evident if you look that we have this ambient and data intelligence path, or the business informatics, analytics, and intelligence. So there are still a lot of bases of machine learning and artificial intelligence, because those cannot be avoided today. But this is not for a very, very specialist in that area. So those 10 tracks are closely connected with the research activity that we do at DAPE. And as I said, each track suggests the courses to choose in order to have a coherent offer which respect the various constraints, because there are a few constraints. So all those 100 courses are organized into tables, and you have a few constraints. You must choose at least 55 credits from tape A, 45 of these must be from tape A or tape B, etc. So there are a few constraints, but you are very free of choosing, actually. Okay, so what I have described so far is valid in general. But then each of you is different, and each of you has made a different path to come to Milan. And so actually what we do is, when we admit you, is that we check your past curriculum and we look if you have taken courses that you have not taken courses that we consider as prerequisite. And so this means that you have to take them now. So you lack some prerequisites, or vice versa, you have taken courses that are similar or very similar to those that we offer during our Master of Science. And this means that you cannot take them again. So when we accept you, in the document that accepts you, you will find a list of additional mandatory courses and a list of forbidden courses. So this means that in filling your study plan, so in choosing those 65 credits, you must include those additional mandatory courses, and you must avoid inserting those forbidden courses. Okay, so we will list those additional mandatory courses and those forbidden courses based on your past curriculum, and you must oblige these prescriptions while you fill your study plan. Okay. Additional opportunities. What else? What else we offer here at Politecnico of Milan? A lot of things, actually. We have Alta Scuola Politecnica, which is a parallel path that put together students from all the engineering at Polimi, but also all the engineering at Politecnico of Turin. So we choose the best students from Politecnico of Milan and Politecnico of Turin, and they can do this parallel path in order to increase the number of subjects that they can study, and in order to improve their preparation. There is an internal Erasmus in design and information engineering that allows you to pick courses not only from the engineering track and our Master of Science, but also from the design school that we have here at Politecnico of Milan. Then we have 2 honors programs, one in engineering for sustainable development and one in scientific research for information technology. Those honor programs are parallel, again, like Alta Scuola Politecnica, they are parallel curricula that include additional courses, workshop, field experiences, and that prepare you in a specific area, the area of sustainable development. This is made in collaboration with the School of Civil, Environmental, and Land Management Engineering, or the area of scientific research for those of you that want to do a PhD in computer science later on. This could be a good opportunity to deepen their knowledge about research by doing this parallel curricula that introduce additional works, workshop, field experiences, etc. Then there is a news of this year that is this additional study course, that is additional possibility of becoming an ambassador in smart technology. Basically, the idea is that you start from our Master of Science, you add 10 credits, you choose appropriately 20 of those 120 credits and add 10 credits on top for a total of 130 credits. And you get this additional title, that is the Polimi Ambassador in Smart Infrastructures. So of those 30 credits, 10 are on vertical courses in computer science and 20 are on transversal courses, so topics different from computer science that allows you to touch the area of smart infrastructure, such that you become this Polimi Ambassador in Smart Infrastructures. Then there are international agreements, the Erasmus, the Joint Master with Illinois at Chicago, several double degrees. So a lot of opportunities to going abroad. Actually, you come from abroad, so perhaps you are not interested, but in principle, all those opportunities are open to every student, independently if it is an Italian student or not. Okay, that's all from my side. I would like to close my presentation with the words by someone that is much better than me at presenting. It was Barack Obama, which at the very beginning of his path, he said he took this presentation to call American students to become computer scientists. And he said computers are going to be a big part of your future. And if you are willing to work and study hard, because our Master of Science is not easy, this is an opportunity to shape the future the way you want. So thank you to all of you. And now if you want to make questions, you can use the chat or you can open your microphone the way you want.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
I would like you to ask which are exactly the parameters that you watch for the admission to artificial intelligence courses to make the graduatory?
The most important parameter we will use is the average, the weighted average on CFU of your admission. So take your bachelor, take the grades that you took at your bachelor, calculate the average based on credits, and that's the most important thing that we will look at.
Okay, and the second one, I don't know if you know, but do you know which is the average of people that enter the master course every year?
The specific one on artificial intelligence or in general?
In general, in general.
It must be something around 24.
Okay, 24. Okay.
Yes. Because actually we admit our students, so the students from Politecnico of Milan coming from our bachelor, even if they have less than 24, and we admit students from the rest of Italy only if they have more than 20, and from abroad only if they get more than 24, with the conversion from those that comes from abroad. And so I'm not sure, but I imagine the average is greater than 24.
No,
because
okay.
our students come from the rest of Italy and from abroad.
Yeah, but I was asking the number of students.
The number of students we accept, well, we have arrived at 500 last year.
Okay, thank you.
So 500 new students each year.
Okay.
Actually, that's the highest number we got. The year before it was 450, but we are growing. But in general, we don't have a fixed number. So apart from that specific study plan, we don't have a fixed number. So by the way, if you plan to apply for the artificial intelligence study plan, my suggestion is to also apply for the generic plan. Because if you are not able to enter those fixed number of students, then you can revert and be accepted to the generic study plan that has no fixed number of students, and that actually will allow you to specialize in the machine learning area with not so much difference.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye. I'm recording the presentation. When the recording finishes, at the end, I will stop my recording and you will find the recording directly into the chat. That's automatic by Teams. Any others? So there is a raised hand by Schuller, Thomas.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to know a bit more about the work that Politecnico di Milano offers on high performance computing and the development of hardware technologies for especially high performance computing, like this sort of accelerator technology. Do you have a research line on that area?
Yes, we have. We have a line that specializes in both in the hardware and in the software part. So we have professors that work with doing parallel programming. I'm doing my research in distributed systems and distributed computing. And then there are also professors that work in the area of FPGA. I do a lot of research working with CUDA and GPU programming. And we are also entering a new group of universities in Europe in order to prepare for a new ad hoc program, especially tailored to high performance computing. But we can do that because we already have research in that area. So you will find among those that very long list of courses that I show you, you will find several courses that are connected and related with high performance computing.
Okay.
In the area of data managing, so big data platform like MapReduce, etc., and then the area of FPGA. So from FPGA to MapReduce, Flink, Spark streaming, etc.
Yeah, and another question I had, my final question is, I'm considering entering the university as a double degree student. So I come from Brazil, and I'd like to know where I can find more about the course requirements you said. Like, how is the curriculum matched so that you said you talked about requirements. So we have to take specific classes beforehand so we can take some courses in our masters. How is that matching done? Like, where can I find more information about that?
Okay, so first of all, double degree, well, it depends if we have an agreement with the other university in order to give you a double degree. Okay, so I'm not an expert in that area. If you want, drop me an email and I will forward this email to the professor that followed those double degrees, and he will help you better. But in general, you cannot, so you get our own degree. So if we don't have an agreement with the other university, you will not get double degree. This permitted, what we look at is we look at your past studies, typically the bachelor, but in your case, perhaps even the master if you have already done part of a master. And we look for two kind of topics, two kind of courses. We want you to be an engineer. So we want you to have done courses in the area of physics, mechanics, electromagnetism, electronics, automation. So you must be an engineer and you must be a computer science. So you must have a good background in the area of programming, theoretical computer science, etc. Okay, so if we find both those prerequisites, that's fine. Otherwise, we could give you some obligations. So we don't ask you to follow courses in advance, but we say, okay, we admit you, but you must follow those 1, 2, 3 courses. Okay, that's the idea. In some cases, if your background is too far from engineering or too far from computer science, we must reject your application.
All right, thank you.
Okay, there is another question by Bokachenkova Victoria.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So you mentioned it's possible to apply to multiple tracks, correct? So
okay,
the artificial intelligence and the computer science.
Yeah, so let's use the same nomenclature. We call study plans artificial intelligence and the generic study plan. Then we call tracks those 10 tracks that are within the generic study plan. So you can apply to multiple study plans. Actually, I'm sure that this is true for Italian students. I'm not sure that the forms that you fill when you apply as an international student include this information. Up to 2 years ago, that was not the case, but we had a single study plan, so everything was simple. Now things are becoming more complex. I'm not sure you can apply to a specific study plan. If you cannot, so if you don't find this information, the name of the study plans are listed. Okay, they are listed. T2D is the business, T2I is the artificial intelligence, T2A, so the two that you are interested in are T2I, artificial intelligence, and T2A, which is the generic one. So if you don't find this information on the form that you fill, my suggestion is that you put it in your CV on the general document that you put, okay? Otherwise, you will automatically move it to the generic plan.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
You could ask why don't you change the form? Actually, it's not me that is controlling that form. Okay, it's the secretary and the secretariat that operates for the entire engineering. So I don't have a fine control of that area. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, that's fine. at least now I know.
Okay.
How many courses do I get to do per semester?
It's up to you, actually. We don't have any specific, there is a maximum, no more than 45 credits. The typical number is 30 in order to complete your path in 2 years. So 30 by 4 semesters means 120 credits, which is the total. So the typical number is 30, but it's up to you. When you fill your study plan, you can add 30 credits per semester, or even 40, or even 20. It depends to you how long you want to take.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. And is there a possibility of an internship during the master's, or would that have to be outside the study plan?
So it must be outside the study plan. So we don't assign credits for internships, but we have an office that helps students keeping in contact with companies. And that's very easy, actually, because you saw the numbers. So actually, the companies start giving you opportunities as soon as possible. We will not give you credits for those, but actually, another possibility is doing an internship and doing your thesis as part of your internship. So basically, using those 20 credits to leverage the work that you are doing during your internship.
Okay, that makes sense. And one last question, coming back to the application, you said that you mainly consider the grades. Is anything else like extracurricular activities, past work experience considered, or is that like not really looked at?
Especially for students coming from abroad, we only consider the grades they took and the level, the quality of the university.
Okay. The level and the quality is established by the ranking.
It's established by our offices that look at those ranking, that look at information they gather around. I know they are not so good as a way to, but you have to consider that there are thousands of students that apply coming from thousands of universities. So it's actually very hard to be fair, precise, and to choose the way we would like to choose. Let me say that if you were a brilliant student, you will enter.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Ramelia? Daniele?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Probably you said it already, but I may have missed it. I was just wondering if I can take classes remotely, or I actually need to be there in Milan.
Well, the expectation is that in the next semester, everything will happen in presence. Okay, so we expect our students to be here in Milan. Just to give you an example, in September, the exams in September are only made in presence. So we expect our students to be here. Then we will probably keep our infrastructure for remote learning on. So in particular, the cameras will be probably on even the next semester. But it could be that there are laboratories in which your presence is mandatory, and so we expect you to be here.
Okay, so the classes are still gonna be like recorded or something, and like.
Well, that's clearly a forecast that we are doing. We are not sure that. So if this pandemic situation continues the way it's going, which is good, then that's what will happen. If we have a new wave of pandemic, then we will change our mind, clearly. But at the moment, the forecast is that everything will happen in presence.
Okay. Second question. Normally, well, I studied computer science and not engineering, so as far I understood, I just need to, take. I may need to take those courses.
Yes, you study in Italy or outside?
Yeah, in Italy. Yeah.
Actually, it may happen that you have too many debts in order for us to accept you. So it depends on where you studied computer science, but computer science, especially in Italy, does not give you any preparation besides pure informatics and mathematics. No else, no physics, nothing. And so you would have too many debts. And so if you really want to enter, drop me an email. We will evaluate your specific situation. But it could be that you should be obliged to do some courses before entering. So additional courses before entering. But drop me an email. So here it is. Wow. Gianpaolo Cugola, so and the email is gianpaolo.cugola@polimi.it.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Mirko Nikic?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I had a similar question to Daniele. My background is also computer science, and I'm from the non-European country. I wanted to ask, I'm interested in embedded systems, robotics, and cybersecurity. I wanted to ask first, can I choose from different groups of courses? So
yes,
I choose. Yeah.
Yes, you can. Actually, your choice. So what you said to me means that you are interested to our generic study plan. And in our generic study plan, we have this area of robotics, this area of pervasive systems, but you can mix them together because, as I said, these are just suggestions, okay? So the generic plan only say that you must do those 7 courses and you can choose freely those another 65, mostly freely. There are a few constraints, but are minimal. So I don't see any problem to build the path the way you want, to build the study program the way you want. Now, a problem could be the fact that you come from computer science. Typically, computer science in extra EU and in general even EU university, extra Italian university include some engineering, some physics, some electronics, electromagnetism, mechanics. So if you had a few of those courses, if you have already a few of those courses, then we could probably accept you. If you have only done informatics and mathematics and nothing else, then we would probably be obliged to reject your application.
Yes, that was my second question. I read a lot those books that are studied on the universities with those courses, but I never had those courses in my faculty, and I wanted to ask if I'm missing just 1 or 2, what was that you said about getting those courses on your faculty?
Actually, the problem is that those courses, so let me describe you the rationale. The rationale is that we are computer science engineers, okay? But we look at the path during 5 years. So during those 5 years, you first study the basics and you become a basic generic engineer, then you specialize in computer science. Okay, that's the entire path during the 5 years, the bachelor and the master of science. So we focus 90% of the preparation in engineering during the bachelor. Now, if you're an Italian student, we can, and you are not an engineer, you don't have those topics in your previous bachelor, we can assign those topics into your master, because they are taught in Italian. That's the problem. But if you come from abroad, we cannot force you to take a course and pass a course in Italian. Okay, so we must reject your application. That's why I asked the previous student if it was Italian or not. So the only way to give you an exact answer actually is for you to apply. So apply and see what happens. But consider that if you don't have enough basics on engineering, there is nothing much that we can do because we teach those courses in Italian.
Yes, thank you, understood. Also, one more question, just it was, are certificates and internship important when it comes to applying, or is it just the credits and grades?
The most important thing are the credits and grades, because we can rely on the way those grades are measured if they come from an official university. From other entities, it's less important. Okay. Put everything in your application.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Victoria, no, okay, your hand is still raised.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll put it down.
Okay. Any other question?
Yes, actually, I also have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already been admitted, but I can't really find any information about the courses that are prohibited or required for me to take. How will I know about it?
They must be part of your admission certificate. If there is nothing listed, so this means that your past studies were perfect and we didn't give you any additional mandatory courses nor any prohibition. So go on. If there was nothing written into the admission certificate, that's fine.
Actually, it says like the student might be asked to take a few specific courses, but they are not really listed.
Actually, they will list it when you apply. So the application for students coming from abroad is a two-step process. We first accept you. If you register, then we go into the details and we list those courses. So actually you were pre-admitted. So it's guaranteed that we will admit you, but we could choose a few courses, typically in the order of 2 or 3 courses. So it's time to apply, to actually register, and then you will find those information.
Okay, but I still just have to take 120 credits, so not the 3 extra courses to go to 135 or something like that?
No, the mandatory courses are not on top of the 120. So they are part of the 120. So the idea, as I said, is that you are in this generic plan. Instead of having only 35 credits mandatory, you will have 40 or 45. But those courses all count in the 120, in the total of 120. So there is nothing in addition that you have to do. Simply, in order to fill the blank that you have are not 65 credits, but perhaps they will be 55 or 50, okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question? Okay, so thank you for coming, and I hope to see you here in my classroom. Thank you, and bye-bye. Oh, there is actually another question for the T2A plan. Is it possible to choose some courses from music and acoustic engineering? Yes, probably yes. You have to ask this. It depends on the course, but typically we accept changing 5 or 10 credits and taking those credits from another study plan. So the answer is most probably yes. Okay, thank you very much for coming and see you later. Bye.